Viewers, Pakistan is back to their familiar dirty tricks of cheating the world when it comes to their hobby, supporting terror. For years, Pakistan has tried to wash its hands of the terror taint, only to fail time and time again. However, this time, while Pakistan tries to portray itself as a reform nation before the FATF, Times now reveals how Pakistan just refuses to mend their ways. India battered and decimated terror outfits and terror hideouts during Operation Sindoor. And now, a rattled Pakistan is trying to find new ways to go back to their old habits. Let me explain. In 2019, to get Pakistan removed from the FATF's grey list, the Pakistan government implemented the National Action Plan. Under this, Pakistan presented to FATF that it had curbed Jaish-e-Mohammed by taking its Markaz under government control. They claimed that JeM chief Masood Azhar, his brother Rauf Asghar and his youngest brother Talha Al-Saif are being closely monitored by the government. Here's what Pakistan had claimed before the FATF. This is what they said. They said that Masood Azhar's bank accounts are under close scrutiny. They are under watch, is what had been said. They also said the accounts of Azhar's brothers also being monitored. And they added that all cash transactions to Jaish have been banned. They also, of course, went on to say that all forms of fundraising to JeM have been banned. This is what they had stated on record at that point of time. Now, what we are looking at is how Pakistan currency of over 394 crores have been routed to JeM. There's an attempt to shift that amount of money. And very clearly, of course, what Times Now has learned is that this is nothing but a sham in terms of what it had promised to FATF. They had claimed to place them under intense monitoring, while they only found newer ways to route the money that was headed for Jaish-e-Mohammed and its chief Masood Azhar. This is a new mechanism that is coordinated by JeM and ISI, and this collects funds using Pakistan digital wallets. What this essentially does is that funds are routed via Easy Paisa and Sada Pay apps, funds that are meant for JeM directed now to digital wallets, and no money is transferred into Azhar's bank accounts. However, Pakistan can falsely claim that there's no money in the bank accounts. However, this is money that Jaish-e-Mohammed is collecting. Over 394 crores collected in Pakistan rupees via digital apps. These funds have been collected now to build new markazes, over 313 of them that sources are indicating to us. So all Pakistan did was to ensure that payments were not directly made to bank accounts associated with Masood Azhar and his family, but via digital payments. How much did they end up collecting? We're talking 395 crores, or that is in Indian rupees, 120 crores. And let's tell you what exactly all of this money was routed to. Many of them happen to be very close relatives of Jaish-e-Mohammed founder Masood Azhar. We're talking about Talha Al-Saif, Masood Azhar's brother. There's also an account of Abdullah Azhar, Masood's son. There's also the account of Syed Safdar Shah, who's a Jaish commander. All of this clearly shows that while the manner of actually routing this money might be different, essentially things are back to square one. Rishabh is joining us now. And Rishabh, very quickly, this is very significant. And sources in intelligence are saying that Jaish-e-Mohammed, up to its old patterns, it is once again had this fundraising program, and it is quite successful in getting it. Pakistan authorities, meanwhile, blissfully looking the other way.
Well, definitely. See, Pakistan is definitely looking the other way. Reason is very clear. Their economy is terror economy. JeM, Jaish-e-Mohammed, was hit really bad in Operation Sindoor, and now the reason they want these 313 odd markers all over Pakistan is to they're basically copying the Jaish, Abdul Hassan thing, that we will go to different parts of Pakistan and will diversify so that our reach increases in Balochistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in Punjab, in Sindh as well. And this whole money, 395 crore Pakistani rupees, is something which is at the tune of 120 crore Indian rupees, and this money is being used for terror outfit for terrorism purpose.
Very quickly, Rishabh, tell us, does India have any plans to counter this, take it up with the FATF?
Well, definitely. See, India has been working on this, and sources suggest that India has now started collecting all these bank transfers or the wallet details, and a dossier is being prepared, and we will be putting it forward to the next committee of FATF that, see, under your nose, Pakistan is still funding the terror, and you have put them out of grey list. You have been befooled by Pakistan using the technology. Remember, we are talking when Pakistan is also investing in crypto. Remember what Prime Minister said, crypto can be a very potent weapon for terrorism, and Pakistan the intent is now clear. Using crypto, using the bank wallets, Pakistan.
Right. Rishabh, thanks so much for joining us with that big story there. I'd like to open this out to our guest now. With us is Lieutenant General Raj Shukla. He's a defense expert, former army commander as well. Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon, who's a former GOC of 15 Corps. We have Dr. Anand Raghunathan, author, joining us. Also with us on the broadcast at the moment is Anand Ahuja, attorney at law and co-founder of Indian Americans for Trump. But let me start first with Lieutenant General Raj Shukla. No surprises really, Lieutenant General Raj Shukla. We've seen this pattern several times in the past. Terror, the very fact that it's so strongly supported by the government, by the army there in Pakistan, it just goes to show that they may have given written assurances to FATF, but those assurances mean nothing because they ultimately want these terror groups to thrive.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. No surprises there at all. But what really amuses me is look at the focus of Pakistani statecraft. When much of the progressive universe, you go to Bangalore, you go to Mumbai, you go to West Asia, people are talking about data centers, energy infrastructure, to see how you can take, productivity to the next level, new scientific possibilities. Pakistan ki jo puri danishmandi hai, wo isme lagi hai how to recreate 300 terror outfits at 500 crores. What a wonderful development plan. I mean, they're surely going down the road to nowhere. And they're going to be on the FATF grey list, back on that list very soon. But the larger problem is this. I think your correspondent mentioned it. Terror is so central to Pakistani statecraft. I mean, what is the ISI? It is an organization which does professional management and proliferation of terror. So they can think of nothing else. So, I mean, it just amuses me to the extreme. If this is the path that Pakistan is on, it is going to become worse than that dump truck or garbage truck that Asim Munir referred to.
Absolutely. In fact, it's pretty much headed the same way. But Lieutenant Dhillon, I want you to come in on this. How should India take this up? Taking it up with the FATF last time around, many feel that, they gave some assurances. They were taken out of the grey list when all of that happened in 2019. But this time around, India has to pursue this very actively. But the big challenge could be the United States. The very fact that they are not just, the crypto ties now between the first family of the US as well as Pakistan, but also the fact that we have seen Asif Munir being feted virtually in Washington by the administration there. That could be a bit of a challenge for India.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to fellow panelists and viewers. See, Pakistan, the basic aim, as General Raj Shukla very rightly said, is main focus is always on creating terror world over, and specifically in India. Earlier on, the terror funding within Kashmir used to happen through over-invoicing and under-invoicing of goods coming to India or going back to POK. So now this new trend has come in of digital wallet. And everyone knows about it. FATF is only a tool to pressurize Pakistan to yield to West's whims and fancies. FATF is not a tool to eradicate terror or eradicate terror funding. It is conveniently used when it is useful, or it is conveniently removed when again the Pakistan starts behaving towards them. So let's not forget, FATF is not for India's favor. FATF is being used as a tool for pressure somewhere else. We have to fight our own battles. And as you very rightly pointed out, now this Bitcoin thing or this digital wallets is a new thing. And in this part of the world, you can live a lavish life and you can carry out terrorism to its hilt without ever going to the bank. The cash currency flow in Pakistan is the main means of currency or exchange or the way you buy weapons and other things. So they really don't need to have a bank account. But the fact is, Americans know it. When their weapons were going to Afghanistan, when their supplies were going to Afghanistan, Pakistan was, sort of pilfering the money, the Russians, the supplies, the clothing, the ammunition, the weapons, everything was being pilfered and being sold in Dara, in Pakistan Dara. So it's not a new thing. The whole world knows it. And I think they have started to live with it and they have started to enjoy it. And Pakistan is being used to pressurize only when he starts misbehaving a bit here and there.
All right.
So it's nothing new. I think it's just a new wine in the old bottle. Old wine in the new bottle.
Right. Let me bring in Anand Ahuja on this. Anand Ahuja, nothing surprising there, say the generals on the panel. But the question is this: what needs to be done? Because the FATF, at the end of the day, should it not be moved? Should these kind of flow of terror funds, at the end of the day, the US has told the whole world that there is a war on terror and has urged countries to join it. But yet, when it comes to Pakistan, it appears to be looking the other way.
So that's a good question. What should be done now? That's more important than what we are discussing otherwise. I personally believe that use of cryptocurrency has nothing to do with the funding of these terrorist activities. Honestly speaking, whether it's a blockchain or cryptocurrency or AI, this is the future. We have to live in that particular. There's no escape from that. So if you believe that cryptocurrency mode is the main cause of all these problems, then we are going on a wrong directions. I personally believe, number one, with due respect to everyone, it's a total failure of India's diplomacy. I do not know what Indian embassies or consulates in foreign countries they are doing. If they could not,
so is India running the FATF? How is it a failure of Indian diplomacy if the FATF is not controlled by India?
Just now, one of your panelists said that we do not have any control on FTS. Secondly, if we cannot convince the foreign
because it's not a body under the Indian government.
Sir, if we are not, our embassies, our diplomats not in a position to convince foreign governments or foreign organizations that what Pakistan is doing, that reflects our failure, which you are not willing to admit. You are going to put blame on others, then accepting your own weakness.
Sir, the information has just now come out in the public domain. I certainly expect the government will react to that. But let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan.
But
Dr. Ranganathan.
Why not? There was a preemptive action. Why you have to take
because,
action?
Sir, because just a few months ago, when India smashed the terror infrastructure of Pakistan, there was a lot of consternation coming in from the United States. And the United States still is not willing to accept that it is the Indian government which accepted the DGMO, and you still continue to insist that it is Trump that has ended the war. And there is a very clear lack of communication that is happening at that level. And people are not able to understand here in India why the US is still firm on the position that President Trump negotiated it when he had nothing to do with talking as far as the government at its highest levels are concerned. I want Dr. Ranganathan to respond to you.
Just one second. You have to let me respond to you, but you have just made allegations against United States. United States had never ever supported terrorism. The proof is in Gaza. What United States is doing. Proof is killing of Soleimani in Iran. So United States had never. Proof is killing of Houthis in Yemen.
Do you not believe that the Pakistan army is supporting terror? Mr. Ahuja?
Pakistan army is supporting terror, but
so why is he being wined and dined by the President of the United States? Please tell us. Why is the Pakistan army being wined and dined?
Very good question. Why India has not voted in favor of United States United Nations resolution against Taliban? Recently, about 2 months back, there was a United Nations resolution against Taliban government.
Wow.
India didn't vote. Pakistan voted for that.
Amazing. Perhaps not surprising that you've not invoked Russia yet. But yes, Dr. Ranganathan, I want you to respond to that.
Yeah, no, good evening, Madhav, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I speak as a layman out here, and with humility, may I disagree with my namesake, Mr. Anand, the previous panelist. Look, when he says that it is failure of our policy to have not convinced the West, or in particular America, of the terror designs of Pakistan, that policy failure is 50 years old. we would never be able to convince them. As Madhav, you rightly said, you have that jihadi Islamist chief who is having notions of Ghazwa-e-Hind and of nuclear destruction of India, and you have the president of the United States of America having lunch with him. So we have to get out of this rigmarole that somehow it is our fault. For 50 years, we were guilt-tripped into saying that it was our fault. I don't give a toss about FATF. And anyway, even if you look at what FATF has ever done, it has only ever put Pakistan in the grey list. That is, it is a particular aggressive watching of Pakistan. It's never put it in the blacklist. And this is run by G7. And, you know, would my previous panelists say the failure of our diplomatic policy is we were not able to convince Trump that even though Europe was taking Russian energy and Russian oil, why has he imposed tariffs on only us? This doesn't work that way. We have to detach. Sir, please, 1 second. We have to detach ourselves from... Sir, I did not interrupt you. Sir, I did not interrupt you. It is unbecoming. Thank you so much. Yeah, Madhav, just 30 seconds. I speak as a layman again. We have to detach ourselves from what the world may think of us. And this Operation Sindoor has told this to the entire world. As I keep repeating, the greatest achievement of Narendra Modi is putting the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance, even much more than nuclear terror. And Madhav, please realize, the welfare of the society of Pakistan is in Pakistan's hand. You want to play terror? We have a tap off, tap on. This is what is important. We don't care. And as you know, the tribunal might vote against India as far as IWT is concerned. I don't think we should budge. Because as it is, for 60 years, it was so lopsided that we were under the foot of this IWT. So please, can we for once and for all detach ourselves from thinking what the world may think of our actions? No. Let the world react to what we act.
Okay, let me bring in Dr. Jeffrey Gunter on that point. Dr. Jeffrey Gunter, the question is this. Here is an organization that is a UN designated terror organization. Here is an organization that is a threat to the Western countries as well. Shouldn't this organization and the action of Pakistan ignoring its funding be taken up very seriously by the United States and by the G7 under the aegis of which the FATF works?
I think what we have to do is we have to zoom up to 20,000 or 30,000 feet and look at it through the eyes of diplomacy. We made incredible inroads between Russia and Ukraine recently. Along the way, we watched the sausage being made. I can't tell you how many diplomats, foreign leaders were jumping up and down, wondering why Donald Trump would roll out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. And then lo and behold, 2 days later, we have Zelensky at the White House wanting to join the team and create a trilateral arrangement that's going to prevent the killing of millions and millions of people. I believe the future of India and Pakistan will be the same. I also believe that the relationships that President Trump is building with the Pakistan government is smart, it's good diplomacy, and ultimately it will provide benefit for India and your people. This is relationship building, and I would love to see the same type of camaraderie or the same type of results someday in the future when Modi comes back to Washington, D.C., is received along with the Pakis, and everyone can get on board the Trump peace train. Right. Now, one thing I would like to add, though, is there's no room for terrorists.
Sir, as far as India is concerned, India and Pakistan have both maintained that whatever issues are between the two countries are only bilateral. There will be no third-party mediation. And that is, of course, our stated policy. Nationally, that is our stated policy. Nevertheless, since you believe that, US-India relations are on this train, on this peace train, and everything can, in fact, be fixed, just take a listen into what Karoline Leavitt said earlier today. She's the White House press secretary. Just listen in.
The president has put tremendous public pressure to bring this war to a close. He's taken actions, as you've seen, sanctions on India and other actions as well. He's made himself very clear that he wants to see this war end. And he has scoffed at the ideas of others that have been raised that we should wait another month before any meeting takes place. The president wants to move and he wants to bring this war to an end as quickly as possible.
Dr. Gunter, sanctions on India. I mean, seriously? And that's a very articulate White House press secretary, a very intelligent person, who's actually said that these are sanctions on India. Is it just calling a spade a spade? Because we haven't seen sanctions on any friendly country of the United States in quite some time, certainly not on India, for the last 2.5 decades. 2.5 decades of hard, support that has happened from both sides of the aisle, whether it is in US or in India. All of that completely being washed away, eroded away day by these kind of statements coming in.
Nothing is being eroded away. This is an argument between people that have shared values of democracy, shared values of personal freedom, and the Indian-American relationship will be fine. Caroline Leavitt is probably the greatest press secretary the United States has had in the last 50 years. She calls it exactly what it is. And let's not forget, when you look at who have been the great tariff countries for the last 10 or 20 years, India has been up there, along with the Egyptians. You can just look at it statistically. This is a rebalancing of reciprocity among a great ally, a great friend, India. And yes, I still stand very optimistic and positive that at the end of the day, not only will U.S. and India relationships be better, but ultimately the Paki relationship will be better too. And I do believe that President Trump...
Okay, Lieutenant Raj Shukla, I want you to respond to that. Are you as optimistic?
So, it's deeply unfortunate that the ambassador and the United States should so quickly forget the lessons of history. Where was Osama bin Laden found? In Abbottabad or in Bareilly? Shuja Nawaz has, and he's a Pakistani, he has dubbed the Pakistani-American alliance as a misalliance. The Americans will soon discover this is not a peace train. This is a terror train. There's a couplet in Urdu. Let me say it in Urdu and somebody can translate it to the ambassador. And US will soon discover. Zakhmi hue jo hot, to mehsoos ye hua, chuma tha humne phool ko kis diwangi ke saath. The Americans will discover what a big mistake it is to kiss this flower, of Pakistan. It's a terror state, damn it. You will realize it. And what a monumental mistake when you sacrifice, your a long-term substantive relationship with India to the promiscuity of a country like Pakistan. What a deep tragedy.
Anand Huja, would you like to respond to that deep strategic mistake that is being made?
Sure.
Please to that?
First of all,
okay, I think Mr. Gunter wants to respond very quickly. Mr. Gunter.
Yeah, I mean, there's no long-term damage to the India-U.S. relationship, number one. Number two, if we're going to talk about history with my esteemed colleague who just made those comments, let's not look back 40 years. Let's look back 4 years. The Abraham Accords, Armenia and Azerbaijan. Look at what's going on with Rwanda and the Congo. The list goes on of numerous countries that have created peace with Donald Trump. That's the history, and that's been shown a formula. And just constantly having, hate among these various countries without taking a different approach, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, that by definition is insanity. And history will prove that the last 6 peace deals that the Trump peace train has created has changed the lives of many. And I pray that it will also change the lives of the great Indian people as well as the Paki people, and we get peace between you guys. That is my prayer.
All right. General Dillon, is it really that simple? It's great to have hopes and prayers and all of that. But, it's a very, very different situation where trust is broken and it's shaken, the core belief that has been held that this kind of an insulting statement, you're a dead economy, there are sanctions being imposed. Every day there's a new insult coming in from US to India.
Absolutely. The previous speaker mentioned about 2 democracies. Now, if we are two democracies, and in Pakistan, whatever the type of democracy, sham democracy, they ultimately have a prime minister. But they are, dealing with the army chief. And the army chief who goes on the American soil and threatens to bring down half the world with a nuclear weapon. And no one condemns that statement. No one, rebuts that statement. And like General Shukla very rightly pointed out, where was Osama bin Laden found? Where every act of terror anywhere in the world, the dots join back to Pakistan. And there are terrorists who are roaming around freely and collecting money and making all types of installations and institutions. And no one is talking about that. Whereas they fully well know that all this money is for terror funding, and all these people who are roaming around collecting money for the various markazes and other things are terrorists. The terrorist of the world, Daniel Pearl, we all know it. Osama bin Laden, we all know it. And everywhere there's a terror act, Pakistan's in. And the second point is, if a chief of army staff can go to a foreign soil, that to a democracy, and threatens half the world with nuclear weapons, how responsible is that state as a nuclear power?
Absolutely.
Isn't the world worried about it?
Absolutely.
There is a threat of irresponsible people handling nuclear weapons. There is a threat of terrorism being spotted, imported, spotted, trained, financed, and equipped, and thrown at the world.
Okay.
And here
Ananda Ahuja, respond to that. Why should, in fact, the army chief be making those threats to India from US soil in the first place?
So I'll just comment on two issues. Number one, we have been discussing Indo-US relationship, but if you see in the last 50 years, except for a brief period during Bill Clinton's time when there was sanctions on India, relationship between India and USA has been cordial, if not great. So you cannot say that there has not been a good relationship between these two countries. Secondly, there has not been discussion going on about terrorism and everything. My question to you guys is, what about India's giving visas to Pakistani artists coming to India, making money in India and going back to Pakistan and funding those terrorist activities? Especially I'm talking of after November 26. How many visas were issued by government of India?
Are you aware that it's been banned for the last 4 years, Mr. Ahuja? Are you aware? Are you aware of this? You're supposed to be an attorney. You should know what's happening as per the law of the land. It's been banned for over 4 years now.
No, now recently you are banned, but I'm saying after,
not recently. It's been banned for quite some time.
No, you have recently.
Recently, please, Dr. Anand, when you don't know about something, listen to somebody who knows something about it. Dr. Ranganathan.
No, I don't recently that. Sir, you constantly interrupt. Please, thank you. No, look, in all honesty, I don't mean to be patronizing towards the good former US ambassador, but his repeated use of the slur Paki, if you could kindly refrain from it, he could either use Pak or Pakistan. Look, he says that India and US have been great friends. I want to ask a very simple question to him. Is it the doing of great friends to impose 25% tariffs on India selectively for buying Russian oil when your other friend Europe is also buying Russian oil? Is it a friendly thing to do to impose tariffs on India when Putin says that US-Russia trade has increased by 20% ever since Trump came in? These are not signs, former ambassador, of good friendship. That's all I'm trying to say.
Can I respond?
Yes, please. Dr. Vanta.
Absolutely. First and foremost, let there be no misunderstanding. If you look at the tariffs that India has put on their agricultural product, I could say the same thing back. I could say, is that what a friend would do to another friend? So if you're talking about tariffs and you're talking about the top 2 tariff countries in the world of the statistics
except that this is an attempt to save our farming sector, which is half our population. Just as Trump is trying to protect his farmers, you can't force another country to open out something which is, and the whole pattern of farming, there's no comparison between 2 countries. There's a huge section of our economy that's dependent on it, and there would be complete chaos. So that's something the US diplomats also would do very well to understand. You can't just shift all the products that you've been sending to China, one fine day expect India to open up its market just because we're friends.
100%. I agree with that statement, but a tariff is a tariff is a tariff. And it all has to be negotiated. It all has to be looked at. And now let's talk about the oil issue with Russia. There's no doubt that it bypasses any sanctions that were on Russia. Oil goes from Russia to India. India sells it on the open market. It's a bypass mechanism. We all know it. Everyone knows it. But here's the thing. All this is irrelevant in the long run because I still believe that India and the United States will have a great relationship and this will all be past us.
The only problem with that argument, sir, is that this is a policy designed by the United States. They are the ones who asked us to buy all that oil. Lieutenant Raj Shukla, why are memories so short?
Yeah.
I agree with the ambassador. After this brief flirtation with Pakistan, America will very soon discover the great utility of India. I mean, it's simply bad mathematics to prioritize 23 crore or 24 crore Pakistanis in the state that they are over 143 crore vibrant, productive Indians. Just get your mathematics right. And how smart is it to get into a alliance with Pakistan, who's, alluring you into this minerals, oil and all this stuff. This is what exactly got the Chinese in with the CPEC. Right. See where the CPEC is stuck. So it is not, I'm pretty confident that the Indo-US relationship is deep. It will return to its rails after America gets over its brief flirtation with Pakistan. But what worries me is the misery that they are headed towards in embracing Pakistan. They should show greater wisdom.
All right.
Americans are nice people.
We'll have to leave it there. Lieutenant Raj Shukla, Lieutenant KJS Dhillon, Dr. Anand Raghunathan, Dr. Gunta, as well as Anand Ahuja. Thanks so much for joining us on this debate.